Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Press. We're reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now we have our guest in the studio. He is Richard Oriri, who is a politician. Great to have you, Richard Oriri.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. So 365 days after failed subsidy is gone, we're back again to talk about it. But before we go ahead, just hold your thoughts. So our phone lines are now open. You can call in to make your contribution or ask your questions. But before I go ahead, in case, because I already promised I was going to recite the lyrics to the new national anthem, just so you don't go and start reading Arise, O Come and Shine, the way you did with Arise, O Compatriots. So in case you don't know, I will recite it. I will try as much as possible so that most of our programs, we keep reciting it so that you're able to learn it for yourself, whether you're reading it or you're singing it or you're even saying it at just in words. So it says, Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our foreign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace or battle honored. And this we count as gain, to hand on to our children a banner without a stain. O God of creation, grant this our noble request. Help us to build our nations where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria shall be blessed. So I will bring them in words so that you're able to learn, cram, read it. Now I'll bring it to you, Richard Oriri. Nigeria, we hail thee. We are back again to that national anthem that was adopted in 1st of October 1960, was relinquished in 1978, but readopted in 2024 May. What are your thoughts on this? Even though I hear Ezekwesili and some other person say, I'm not reciting Nigeria, we hail thee. I'm going back to, it is Arise, O Compatriot that I'm used to. Let's get your thoughts.
Annabel, like every other Nigerians out there, the reintroduction of our old national anthem is not the problem of Nigerians now. But here we are. We have no option because we have elected them. Whichever decision they are taking it on our behalf. The reintroduced national anthem, just like you said, was composed by a British expatriate,
right,
in 1960. And in 1978, the military administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo altered it and introduced Arise, O Compatriot. And today, 29th May 2024, the current administration of President Tinubu is reintroducing that old national anthem composed by a foreigner, not a Nigerian. Meaning we have nothing to be proud of.
Why so? Why is it a challenge? Because it was adopted.
It's a challenge to me and to many other Nigerians, in the sense that even if it were to say yes, at that initial stage, the British people handed over the government to us, the country to us to manage, and they handed over some of their intellect. But now it's not the time that we should come by a kind of another neocolonialism. I can call it neocolonialism. It's not good for us as a nation. But here we are. And the challenge, the problem is that our lawmakers today, they hardly question some decisions of the executive. And since they cannot question the decision of the executive on my behalf, on your behalf, as the electorate, people that have elected them to lead us, It's a very serious challenge, because this bill that brought about the reintroduction of this old national anthem, I think, is an executive bill from the president. If it is not from the president, none of the House of Representatives or senators initiated this. It was initiated from the presidency. And that is why it was given that speedy deliberation and passage.
But even though some of the House of the National Assembly members, they quickly they were not accepting it at some point. In fact, it was almost going to bring about
accepting it, but they accepted it.
I remember when some of them were saying that that's not our problem at the moment.
The issue there was that maybe such people were not part of the arrangement with the executive.
Oh, is that how you see it?
Yes. It's not everybody. Out of 360 members of House of Reps, all of them cannot be part of the decision that was passed to them from the presidency. And out of 109 senators, just majority of them, especially the leadership of the House, might be the people who are aware of what is coming from the presidency to them. And they have to abide by it. So some of the argument I saw when they were deliberating about it, was about they have to utter some things and reject some things, since it has come to a bill that will be passed by the president and become law. Now it's a law. So what I see in the whole thing is that if they were patriotic enough, if they truly saw from the angle of the citizens, that if this is to be adopted, it should be backed by law, so that every word in the anthem should be respected by every citizen, every Nigerian, all the wells. If they can abide by the wells of the anthem, I don't think there's anything wrong in it. I am basically thrilled by the last stanza. The first and second stanza was about kind of talking to ourselves as citizens. Passionately talking to ourselves. Reasons why we should see ourselves as one. Reasons why we should see ourselves as people that should live harmoniously together. But the last stanza was, if you are a Christian, you are talking to your God. If you are a Muslim, you are talking to your Creator. Where it was pleaded to God that they want to see God should help them have a let me just go to that last stanza and see. That last stanza says, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. If this can be respected, can be adopted in our words and actions as citizens, I don't think we will have problem in the country. And I doubt how that will be possible in a society like Nigeria, where no citizen will be oppressed, no citizen will be suppressed, no citizen will be rejected, no citizen will be dejected, no citizen will be dehumanized. And this dehumanization, suppression, and oppression of citizens that is coming that everyone sees as a result as an injustice, majorly come from the elites. The time of election, you see citizens who have the opportunity of being elected as members of House of Reps, being elected as members of the Senate, being elected as head of executive, being appointed as commissioners and ministers, suppressing other citizens not to have the opportunity to be elected and represent their people. Suppression everywhere, even when it comes to employment opportunity in federal establishment and state establishments. Suppression everywhere, oppression everywhere. And I can say that is that can be termed as the major problem that we are having in the country. Suppression is insecurity. Oppression is insecurity. You are not secured when you are not free. If you cough, it's a problem. If you ask questions, somebody will suppress you, will talk harsh on you. It's insecurity. Insecurity is not just when criminals come to your house to rob you, or to rape you, or to even assassinate you. That is not just insecurity. Insecurity is when your voice cannot be heard. When your human nature cannot be respected. That is insecurity. If you go to almost all aspects of human life today in Nigeria, we have insecurity. So, if our leaders, the elite, have passed this to us, can respect that part where individually, as you are singing the national anthem, when you get to that stanza, it is God that you are talking to. So, right. If that can be respected, I have no objection. Here we are. It's a law. It's now law. It has been assented to by the president. So,
okay. So let's take from one of the stanza that talks about "In brotherhood we stand." Now, that's the Nigerians we're all proud to serve. That's should be like one of our focal points, both as despite the fact that we are more of a religious people, we are more of we are always big on ethnicity and tribe and all. But then, if you come out to start reciting the anthem and you are proud, or you boldly say, "In brotherhood we stand," then it means that you should also mean it. Because now we are always very quick to say, "Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey." We just talk and then we move on. But if you're not going to adopt such, and then one thing happened and you are quick to say, "Oh, na Igbo man," or because na Yamere, or na Ofemanu, and you're just quick to attack, or because he's a Christian or a Muslim, then what's the point of all of this? It doesn't look like a facade to you.
That is what I have said earlier. Like in India, for example, comparatively, let us leave Nigeria and go to another country. In India, the elites in power, they understand that India is a country with diverse ethnic groups. India is a country with diverse religious groups. They have quite a huge number of ethnicity than Nigeria. The number of different religions in India is more than what we have in Nigeria. They practice democracy, and we practice democracy. Rather, theirs is parliamentary, the British style. Ours is American style of democracy. But they believe in that secularism in their democratic arrangement. Nigeria is a secular state as well. But the elites in India, as they understand that part of their nationhood, of their brotherhood, they put everything concerning religion and ethnicity aside governance. And that is why there is equality in India, though not total. Because you can't have equality total anywhere.
Right.
There is equality in India, and that is where they respect every citizen to be equal in terms of employment opportunity, in terms of training, in terms of education, giving education to every citizen in India. You consider every section, every local communities, every citizen of India, they are seen as one. That is the brotherhood. All right. But in Nigeria, our elites, we don't see that nationhood, we don't see that brotherhood, we don't see that secularism in our behavior and in everything we do. What we do is self, clan, religion. It is so deep in our blood. So until our elite, I pray that this national anthem that has been reintroduced again to us, It's something that was designed. It's a concept designed by a British expatriate, not from us as Nigerians. But this woman has passion for the country. For her to have done this, she has serious passion for us.
All right.
And she loves us. If we have gone back to her own concept, I pray we adopt it and we take it to be ours and walk by it.
And not just recite it.
And not just reciting it. If it's just to recite, then I can call it the highest propaganda of the 2024.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Because I was actually telling someone that, can you actually believe that? I remember I went for to cover an event, and even some senators, some politicians were not able to properly recite the old national anthem. So I'm just wondering how we are able to. Okay, let's leave it so we don't shake tables this morning.
That is why it's always difficult to implement what you did not design by yourself. Another person's concept is always difficult for you to implement.
Richard, let's still stay on this matter, but this time we'll talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 365 days. It is yesterday marked exactly 365 days when we heard fuel subsidy is gone. So now we are on the 366th day, but we still have issue with fuel. We still have issue with seeing even the crude, the fuel at all. Or there's some, you have this wide margin between the NNPC and other independent marketers or other retail outlets. But then, in all of this, let's not only the fuel subsidy, just so we manage our time. What are your thoughts with regards to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 1-year anniversary? Has it been, with all of the 8-point agenda, has it been renewed hope for you or a chartered hope? Because I see all the national dailies this morning. One person screaming, "Congratulations, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have done well." But what is it for you, Richard Oriri?
I'm a Nigerian, and you are a Nigerian. You have seen everything. You were there when he was inaugurated. I was there when he was inaugurated. And you know where Nigeria was when he came in. And I know where Nigeria was when he came in. In all the sectors, in fact, all the sector, every angle, all the indices of development, you have it, I have it. Do we have any proper development in any of the sectors? I can't give it up in a rate of 10.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
I'll give it 2 in almost in all.
2 looks very, very poor.
Just 2. Far below average. I'll give him 2. Because you can't just say totally that he has done nothing. He did something, but far below average. In agriculture, far below average. There's hunger everywhere in the country today. 2 days ago, a policeman who went to Gbadibo local government area of Benue State, a policeman who went to suppress the harsh treatment of criminals, was shot. He was unlucky that a bullet, one of the bullets entered him. In the whole of that Gbadibo local government area, they could not find any better hospital for his treatment. He was on the floor of one of the local clinic, crying helplessly until he died. A complete local government, very large local government in my constituency, federal constituency. But I thank God, Honorable Philip Agbese, he proposes a bill for the establishment of a federal medical center in that local government. And I pray it passes through second and third reading and passage for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to assent to it, so that that federal medical center will be established in that local government. So across the country today, we don't have any health, good health services that is rendering service to Nigerians. We don't have. Even the elite today, you can see it from their actions that any time any of them, all of these people in government, the moment you see them, even common headache, you see them flying abroad. If it is the Muslim side, you see them going to Egypt, going to some of these Asian countries. If it's our Christian brothers, you see them going to UK, going to US, going to other parts in the Western world. So, and if you look at aviation, that one at least he tried. In the rate of 10, I can give you 3% instead of 2. He tried. So infrastructure. Did
you listen to the interview?
Education is almost zero now.
Did you listen to the interview granted by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lukubiri,
no,
where he was asked about the Dangote refinery and alleging that they are going to be importing crude from USA, and then he said the federal government is not aware of it. And there's so many questions that he was asked. Why is there a long margin between the price given by NNPC and the independent retail outlets? In fact, most of the things that he said, I am a minister to over 7 parastatals in the petroleum industry. So I would not know categorically what is happening in all of them. So if you have a problem with NNPC, go and ask NNPC directly. And I'm wondering, interesting, coming from the boss of all bosses.
That shows the high level of incapacity among all these majority of the ministers that we have today in Nigeria. They are not competent enough to even manage their local government, not to talk of ministry that covers the entire country. As a minister of petroleum, you don't have data of what is going on within your ministry, even if there are 200 agencies under you. If you don't have that capacity, you have to resign. You are not competent. That is to say, he has tendered his resignation before the public, before Nigerians. If he openly says so, then he has tendered his resignation. If you go to education, the same thing. Majority of them, they don't even have data of what they are managing. Like if you go to education ministry, you ask the education minister, how many people, how many Nigerians are in NYS's camp now? He doesn't know the number. Not to talk of how many of them that will be, that you will give the data to federal government, Ministry of Budget and National Planning, for them to arrange on how to create job for Nigerians who are leaving university, even the ones who are writing JAMB now. Education minister may not have the number. And those who are giving admission this year in the university, polytechnic, colleges of education, he may not have the number. And you are a minister of education.
Let me play the devil's advocate here, Richard Oriri. Then some people will say, am I going to carry all the numbers in my head? Haba, cut me some slack.
That's on seriousness. If you are not ready to carry all the data, you are there to help the country. Without the data, Nigerians, they can't plan. There will be no proper planning. And that's why we have good number of Nigerians leaving universities, leaving NYSC yearly without planning for them, no job and nothing. Go to US, go to UK. You will see they have the number. Go and ask the education minister. They will tell you this is the number of persons coming from the university this year.
Okay.
This number of persons that will be given employment out of this number. Okay. And we are making this arrangement for this social number that have not been given employment.
Richard, let's leave the education minister. Let's talk about the minister for road and works with all of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and that expensive mistake that was made where he talked about that we're going to reroute. They made a reroute of the project, and then they said because they found out later that some submarine cables will be touched, which will affect the country for over 1 month. So I'm asking, are you not supposed to do a due diligence before you start, and then know that if you start this your project, it's going to hit or it's going to affect some submarine cables that would affect network, that would affect the banks, because we're going to talk about cyber security on it that would affect houses, that would affect organizations. And then that's what, in fact, most of the buildings were already taken down, especially like the landmark beach that was taken down, chopped, part of it were chopped, only for you to come back and say that you did not know that it would affect some submarine cables, and then you just found out. Excuse you. Let's get your thoughts on that.
The challenge we are having in Nigeria generally is a problem of policy flip-flops. That is inconsistency in policy arrangement of our leaders. Like 2 days ago, before the visit of the President Bola Tinubu to National Assembly yesterday, there were 2 media reports from the presidency.
Right. And the spokesman.
And the spokesman countered the other one.
One from Bayo Ononuga.
The other one from
Galale says that's malicious and forceful.
The two of them, they are doing the same job. So this one was right, he releasing his own. And this one too was right, he's releasing his own. Why? Okay. Are they now telling us that fake news, that presidency is the architect of fake news in Nigeria?
Interesting.
Is that what they are telling Nigerians, that presidency is the architect of fake news? That was what Galare said. That was fake. That information
was malicious.
You understand? So now, because of a policy flip-flop in Nigeria, Total Energy, over $6 billion investment that the company was supposed to put in Nigeria this year.
Right.
He diverted it to one of the countries in Africa,
Angola.
And thank you. So, because we don't, there's no consistency in our policy arrangement. You cannot just allow investors to come into your country to invest, to put huge an amount of money in something. Then tomorrow you change policy that will affect their business. No Greek capitalist will take that. They are in business to make profit, not to lose. Okay, now that the mistake done by the Minister of Works now in that ring road, what do they call it? What will he do now? There was damage already caused there.
Right.
And it's government from a public fund that they are going to use for that settlement.
To compensate.
That is waste. They are supposed to put every arrangement in order before you start implementation. You cannot just jump. Okay, you see now telling us that there was no proper assessment of that road before they start implementation. He only saw it on the paper and say, okay, this is another opportunity for me. There's this road that they have abandoned for long. Let us open it because I can from here make something. That's what they do.
But then you see some other persons, because I talked about it yesterday, and then you have some persons who will say that the only reason why most Nigerians are complaining is because anything that impacts on the life and livelihoods of the minority group, Nigerians are always quick to shout about it. It is because that road is going to impact on the lives of the minority group. That's why most people are complaining. Do you see it as that?
They are not patriotic citizens.
And they should not be singing Nigeria we hail thee.
They are not patriotic Nigerians, because if you are a patriotic Nigerian, citizen of any country at all, any decision taken by any elite in power, you have to look critically into it. Why has this person taken this decision? And it's your right as a citizen to ask questions for answers. If the answers are right, then you can, okay, fine, this decision you have taken on my behalf is right. But if the answers are not right, then there have to be a reversal. You have to reverse to withdraw your statement, your decision, and go by way of a way of imparting lives, not just taking decision because you want the decision to benefit you. So it's no issue of ethnicity, it's no issue of religion, it's no issue of say this region. You are saying this because it's going to benefit. That is why we are where we are. We should be talking as citizens, as Nigerians. We are a nation. A nation is something that in a nation, in every nation you see history. You see history, religion, that binds you together, culture that binds you together, that makes you a nation, makes you one.
All right.
So we should be talking as people who are one, not as people that are disintegrated, that are being, in fact, divided in so many ways. No, Nigeria should be seen ourselves as, we should be seen. Nigeria will hail the nationhood, the first sentence, second
brotherhood.
Brotherhood. So we are one. And what we should be looking at is that nationalistic spirit. Right. Not individual or regional or ethnic.
Richard, our time is fast spent, but if you can help us in 2 minutes, 2 questions, and I'd like you to take them together in 2 minutes, please. Let's talk about the Emirate tussle. CJN summons judges over conflicting orders as Kano bans protest. We saw the conflicting judgment with regards to the Kano Emirate, and then the Nation's newspaper says NBA judges' conduct in Kano a total disgrace. That's what the Nation says. So now let's get your thoughts on that one. And then secondly, it looks like Nigeria and I beg your pardon, the federal government and the Labour Congress, the kind of way I'm seeing it is like when you go to the market, especially when our mothers go to the market and they want to price meat, and they want to price pepper or momo, and they tell you, I want you to pay 615,000, but me, I come out to say no, I'm not paying 615,000, I'll pay 75,000. Then later you come out to say, okay, no, let's have 60,000. Then another person is coming out, the federal government come out to say, okay, no, I cannot. Oh Jesus, why does it look like pricing meat and momo with the Nigerian workers here?
First, let's take it from Kano. The Kano issue to me is about a cultural arrangement of a people, and its culture and its tradition. Yes, government can come into it when it is going to cause crisis, but to me, the people of Kano State, they know the religion, the culture that have bind them together. You know, before the splitting, the disintegration of that Kano Emirate, there was so much respect in the Emirate Council of Kano.
Right.
But after the disintegration, that respect diminishes. Diminishes. And maybe the majority of the Kano Emirate, who are majorly Fulanis, they see that respect, traditional respect to their own emirate, was over trampled upon, and that's how they have to pick the pieces and bring it back together again to say, let it be as it was before, that will serve their interests. Any external interest, I will tell they should hands off. But the judges, any judge that have taken stand that is against their ethics, should be punished. But for the traditional institution, politics should be far away from it.
Right.
Because we are having most of our crises in Nigeria today because of the politicization of traditional institutions in Nigeria. And if politicians can hands off from traditional matters, we will have peace. Because our major problems, the crisis insecurity in Nigeria majorly come from the local communities, and these local communities is managed by traditional institutions. So politicians will hands off. Then going to the Labour and federal government disagreement on the salary matter, I think what they are doing is that, you know, is a kind of how do I put it, deficit in trust, high level of trust deficit. The labor union, they are no longer having trust in federal government, and federal government is to some point they're equally not having trust in the labor union. It's trust issue. And now that they are both agreeing to dialogue, from the labor angle, they want to see that this dialogue is once and for all. So let us agree on something now that will last longer. So that is what is causing this shift here, shift there, shift there. But federal government should come up plain to see that they put a lasting solution.
Even though the federal government says be patriotic with your demands, telling the NLC.
They are patriotic. They to some extent, they were not patriotic to their demand. But now, I think they are coming down, and it's better. So federal government should just come and hit the nail on the head. If it is 150,000 naira minimum wage, they should do. Nigerians will say, yes, we are okay. Even if the labor union, they are shouting, Nigerians will come out to say, this is enough. Because we are the one paying. It's not a labor union that will pay. It's not those elite in government now that is negotiating with labor that will pay. It is from our taxpayers. It's from our tax that they will pay. So once federal government reaches a level that is enough for us, all of us, that Nigeria will say that yes, this one at least can last because of what is happening in the country today. Food shortage, everything, NEPA, electricity, tariff, everything is so high. So in this country, so once they can do well for our workers, at least the trickle effect, it will go down.
All right, Richard Oriri, politician, it's always a pleasure having this talk.
It's my pleasure too for always having your time to call me.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, like I said, tomorrow is World No Tobacco Day, and we'll be having conversation with regards to no tobacco or tobacco. Which one? Here or there? I'll see you later.